Good morning. Some of you don't believe in that. I don't know. Maybe just morning. Let's say hi to everybody that's here. David, Jay, he's at work getting trained for the new pay grade. It's kind of weird. I mean, I guess good that they gave you a new job and then they are teaching you how to do that. In my experience, it's like, isn't doing your job training to do your boss's job? Maybe it's different in the Navy because being a chief is such a big deal. I want to say at the top of the show, just a piece of business. I might get a phone call from the air conditioning guy. I had him out here on Friday. They said they couldn't fix the air conditioning because it keeps breaking down. So if he calls me, I'm just going to take the call right in front of you because I can't, pull over a show. And I thought, I was thinking like, well, that'll be bad podcasting. But then I'm like, no, these people want to see that I'm just like them, that I take phone calls from air conditioner repairmen just like them. As if there were any doubt. Tyler is giving me countdowns there. Anthony, hope he doesn't want this show to interfere with his work today. So, Anthony, I don't even know what you do. You should probably tell me so that I get to know you a little bit better. You're one of those mystery kind of lurker guys out there that I never got to know. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm missing my Donna Adelson trial entertainment. Wendy. Well, they're doing a pre-sentencing investigation right now on Donna, and I think they're scheduled to sentence her in a little over a month, something like October 14th. My guess is that if Donna wants to do anything with getting a lighter or reduced sentence or having some sort of hope for parole, this would be the time during that pre-sentencing investigation that she would give up Wendy if she has something to flip on her. I don't think that's going to happen because, I don't know how it works in Florida, I guess, but it seemed to me on the night when they convicted her, they were ready to go straight to sentencing. They're like, why don't we just go ahead and straight to the sentencing? But the defense attorney was like, yeah, well, they gave this to Charlie. They gave Charlie the benefit of the pre-sentencing investigation, so Donna should get that too, which I don't know how you just are automatically entitled to benefits that your co-conspirators got. You may be entitled to benefits. Did someone that you did a murder with also get something good? Well, you might get that good thing too. It's like what? Because they're part of the Murder Dan Markel Club, they should all get the same legal entitlement? I don't know. I thought it was strange. Tyler's waiting. Jenny says she's never ready. And Jenny, of course, probably doing something right now to destroy her knees or her life, being too busy. Nervous for what? Going live on the internet in front of a bunch of people. I'm an introvert. Fox is here. Good morning to you. 13 people here. That's a bit heavy for me. The ideal number of people is about 5 so that I can actually respond to comments. And my sister's here, so good morning to my sister. I am in and out today. I got to make sure the toddler doesn't drown while I am smoking. Is that what it means to watch the show? It's the same as smoking. If your toddler drowns during the show, you have to explain to the prosecutor what you were up to. Don't describe the show as smoking. They're not going to understand that. Wouldn't it be weird if I was someone's alibi, though? Because, what if something happened, right, at Jenny's house that she could say, well, I was watching this podcast. And they're like, well, that's not much of an alibi. And she could be like, no, it was a live YouTube podcast. Like, you could see the host talking to me live because I'm in the chats. It was recorded at that time. And then all of a sudden I got to appear in court. God, that would be weird. Maybe just don't have anything happen at your respective homes. There's 14 people here. That's a lot of potential subpoenas that I would rather just avoid. Yeah. All right. Power move is to fix it yourself whilst we watch. Well, Michael, I know that you are new to the show because you thought that Mondays got canceled, but the air conditioner has broke down several times, and I have already fixed it several times. The problem is that there's some sort of electricity coming through the ground wire, and I don't know how to fix that. How would I fix that? I'm not an electrician. I'm not that guy. I can't do that without killing myself. I also don't want it to be a YouTube first that I accidentally kill myself while working on my air conditioner live on YouTube. It's funny that you say that the power move would be to fix it while you all watch. There is something strange and voyeuristic about all of you. I don't mind sitting down and performing and doing a show, but someone else this week thought it would be cool, like, because I said, it's probably time that I redecorate my set a little bit, because I've had the whole X-Files thing going for probably about a year, and I could do something different. And maybe I will, just because it just seems like a time to kind of renew or refresh things. But they said, well, why don't you redress the set, during the show that you do on Monday? This was Butter Queen, actually, if you must know. And it was really weird because Butter Queen's just like, she like can tell that like my shelves are not tall enough for me to put this monitor on to the shelves. And it's just like, you really have an eye for these things. So the show is about me talking to you and showing you memes and trying to relate those into thoughts and feelings or stories about my life. But would you guys actually want to watch me redo my office on the show? Like, I would have to find a way to get mic'd up. I actually do have some wireless mics. I don't know if there's an input for that, because there's a receiver that's like a 3.5 millimeter jack. Trying to see if my Rodecaster has input for that. Maybe it does, and I would just be able to just wirelessly mic myself up and it would totally work. I don't know. But unless my mouth is right next to this microphone that's attached to my desk, you wouldn't be able to even hear me. So, and maybe that's like more of a passive thing I would do, where like you could just have it on your TV and you could just check on my progress. I don't know. YouTube might think that I'm broadcasting nothing, though, is the problem. So, Anthony's a probation officer. I'm currently assigned to our sex offender supervision team. Oh boy, that's got to be a fun job. How often are you getting calls from cops on the roadside saying they pulled over one of your guys? Or how often, Anthony, are you getting reports that, somebody's run one of your guys, one of your sex offenders through NCIC? You have to call around finding out why. It seems to me like probation officers do a lot of tail chasing. They have to follow up a lot, put detainers on guys, and you're basically babysitting sex offenders. And I'm not putting down your job. I'm putting down sex offenders, by the way. But a lot of probation officers taking phone calls in the middle of the night because their probationers are obviously up to something if it's the middle of the night. Lauren, hello. Good to see you here. Anthony monitors the wood chipper. I don't think he's allowed to say that. That's the bad thing about being a probation officer that supervises sex offenders. You probably can't be someone that constantly rails about sex offenders on open forums and stuff, because they would be used against you as like a sign of lack of professionalism or a lack of professional detachment. They would be able to say, this guy's hounding me. Look at the way he talks about sex offenders online. Sex offenders, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are actually really sensitive about the way that they get treated. They feel like they're being, singled out for mistreatment, which I guess is the whole point of the sex offender registry, that we know where you're at and what you're doing. Sex offenders also get preyed upon by other worse, or no, I wouldn't say worse. I want to retract that right away. They get preyed upon by other criminals, like people who like steal identities and extort. They'll call up sex offenders and be like, hey, if you don't send me $500, I'm going to tell your probation officer that you sent me pictures of a little kid or something. That happens a lot. An EMP would work to do what? I thought you would be late. I was a few minutes late. What am I using the EMP for? Maybe I should just use it anyway. Salamander's here. I like the X-Files theme. It's very John. It is. I like to switch things up now and then. You're not sure you're ever well? Oh boy. I would rather the new set be a surprise. Oh, well, first of all, you're overstating it as a surprise. Because I don't think it would be anything that would be interesting to you. It's just I like to change up the look every now and then. The problem is that once you get it dialed in to where you want it to be, there's like some technical aspects of it. Like you'll notice, I don't have this monitor on. This should be on. It didn't get plugged in. But like behind me, the entire wall is bathed in blue light, but none of that blue light is on my face. So like I have a key light on my face and other things like this. Getting the light to just the blue light to be on the wall behind me and nowhere else is actually really difficult. And if you mess with too much of that, it will be more difficult. So I've messed with it before sometimes. And like recently I changed up some of the lighting and I was like, man, I really had the lighting dialed in because everything I've done to change the lighting made it worse. So it's actually surprisingly difficult to do. The light bulbs are actually these light bulbs that I manage with an app so that I can manage both the brightness and like the tone. Like I can make them all different colors and stuff. Some of you who've been watching me long enough probably remember when I used to have the set kind of more red. But those light bulbs are really expensive, and it's just surprising what you have to do to get a good lighting scheme going. So that's why I say like I'm somewhat hesitant to mess with it, but I could do maybe some light changes. I used to have more of my shelves in the background, and maybe I could bring some of that back. I don't know. Maybe that's not that interesting. I've been talking about it too long. By the way, Jonathan, I have a wireless mic I bought a while back, and I could send you this, assuming you have a way to connect to it. Well, I have 2 wireless mics. Thank you. That was very nice of you to say, and that you would just send me something. You're very kind. I do have 2. I would have to see if it connects. Like I said, it would connect through a 3.5 millimeter jack. It looks like I have one of those. It looks like channel number 5 is actually how I would do that. So hypothetically, it could be done. Maybe I should just get rid of this. I mean, this microphone picks up the rich tones of my voice, but I could just go to a wireless mic. Slamming some metal at the same time. I can't tell if Tyler's an office guy or if he literally is like the most like blue collar, like literally sledgehammering things during the show guy. Well, I learned that I can get busted as I put on a list for peeing next to my truck. I'm out of the way parts of parking lots. When I'm traveling for work, I stopped. Probably a good idea. Switch to Rockford Files. The thing is about a Rockford Files themed set is that everything from the Rockford Files is like very small. And I already do have like the phone, for whatever that's worth. Clumsy. But like having a picture of Noah Berry and some cards and an answering machine, it's all got to be stuff I could stick to a wall, And so I think that might be more difficult to do. My theme wouldn't be another TV show, I don't think. How awkward would that be? Hi, I'm your neighbor. I'm on a list and I have to report because I peed next to my truck in a closed gas station parking lot. That's exactly how I would do it. Hi, I'm your neighbor. I'm on a list and I have to report because I peed next to my truck in a closed gas station parking lot. The movie Horrible Bosses has Charlie Day as a dental assistant who's a registered sex offender, and all he did was pee outside, and some kids saw him, and it like ruined his life because now like people can control him because he's on the sex offender registry. They're like, well, the whole movie. There's a subplot of some people being extorted, and the pressure that they're able to apply to him is that he's a registered sex offender, and it's just like all I did was pee outside. That's a good movie if you haven't watched it. App-based light bulb control, all fun and games until they start charging us a subscription for that app. Yeah, there's other ways to do things. I mean, at some point, if you see me over here and I've got Christmas lights behind me, that's how you know. Someday Christmas lights will also be the same. I personally think the blue is very beautiful. Thank you. It was very hard to dial in. Actually, lately, if you noticed, I look like I no longer have a tan, and that's because I changed the white balance on my camera because the blue light that I had in my set was coming across as very green. So when I changed it so that my lights looked more blue, it washed out all the tan on my face. So I didn't just spontaneously lose a tan overnight. It just everything, all the tint and everything all got shifted. This is all very boring. Why am I even talking about it? Most NCIC notifications are from officers pulling them over. However, they are usually really good at having a valid license. Well, that's good. The bare minimum thing to maintain in this society. It's a good movie, Michael. There's actually two of them, Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses 2. I think the first one's slightly better, but they're both good. Great cast for both of them. I saw the Jerry Jones documentary on Netflix. A lot of people have been asking me if I saw that. It's about the Dallas Cowboys and kind of Jerry Jones buying it for $140 million in the late 80s and what the state of the team was at that time and how much flack he took for firing the head coach. At that point, it had been the same head coach since the team began in 1960. So it had been the same coach for 29 years, who's kind of a legend, Tom Landry. If you know anything about football, then you would know about Tom Landry. If it were not for a couple games in the late 60s, the Super Bowl trophy would be called the Landry Trophy. It was that close. Lombardi only won a couple key matchups against Landry, and I think that's why he got the name of the trophy. Otherwise, it would have been his, which would have been better, I think. But it kind of talks about how much shit he takes over the years, and they talked about everything that had to do with the team becoming a very, very good team, and then Jerry Jones essentially having fallouts with everyone and the team falling apart in the late 90s. And I remember all of that. And I actually thought it was a really good documentary. And something I realized as it was kind of wrapping up and getting to the end of it, why they made this documentary. I think that Jerry Jones thought he was going to die. He recently had cancer, and I guess that he went through some kind of treatment that completely cured his cancer. The kind of one of the entitlements of being insanely wealthy, a billionaire essentially, is that you can just have the cure for cancer. They gave it to Jimmy Carter too. He had cancer, and they're like, well, you're a former president, so we'll cure your cancer. But I think he thought he was going to die, and I think that's why he's been making amends lately. For any of you who know anything about Jerry Jones, he made amends with Jimmy Johnson, the old coach during the 90s. They even had kind of a ceremony in which Jimmy Johnson was inducted into the Ring of Honor, which didn't happen for a long time. And I played on the after show, I played clips from the Paramount show Landsman, where Jerry Jones appears on that show, and he talks about his reason for buying the Cowboys was that he loves football, but also he wanted it to be a family business. His entire family runs the Cowboys with him. And it's kind of this touching, sentimental moment where he's telling this other character that he needs to completely change the priorities in his life because he's going to die someday. And so kind of, I think I've learned, it's hard to tell from celebrities, and it's not really that you care so much, but looking back at Norm Macdonald, who was someone I really liked who passed away, I've actually cultivated a whole playlist on Spotify of podcasts that he appeared on. And there was a few podcasts that he appeared on where he kind of obliquely discussed the prospect of mortality. And certainly when you read his autobiography, based on a true story, that's the name of it. Norm didn't tell anyone he was going to die, not even his closest friends and family. And I think it might have been the same thing with Jerry Jones, that he got a very bad prognosis and then he managed to get better. But sometimes when people think that they're about to die, they tend to talk about it very obliquely, and they kind of settle their accounts and things like that. I think that he was close to dying, and of course he still is, because of how old he is. But at the end of that documentary, he says, what will people say about this documentary? What do I think? What do I think about reflecting on my whole life? And he says a few things, but then before the documentary ends, he says, it sure was a hell of a lot of fun. And that's kind of the end of it. And, was that the epitaph, the eulogy of his life, looking back on it all, it was a hell of a lot of fun. Just something interesting to think about. You never know what's going on with people. And it really changed the way that I thought about him. I don't resent him nearly as much as I used to. There's some moments in the documentary where he does not come across well at all, but there's some honesty there about it. Obviously he consented to participate in all that, and some of those uglier moments, he's talking to the camera. So I think, he knows he's not the world's best person, that he doesn't make the world's best decisions, and that he's made mistakes. And then he's been through all this criticism. I always felt like, how can you not know that you're the biggest problem for the Dallas Cowboys? What's surprising is that a lot of people that you wouldn't think would do that kind of defend him. Like Tony Romo, he's like, we had teams that could have gone and played in the Super Bowl, but we had moments that stopped us from reaching that. And I'm sure he's talking about his own 2006 NFC divisional game where he dropped the ball. How many times on field goal attempts had he perfectly held that ball and he just muffed it. I remember that game as very emotional. Or the one where Des Bryant caught the ball and the referees ruled that he didn't catch it. Those were, 2006, 2014, those were years where they could have gone to Super Bowl. Certainly in 2014, that was the year that, by the way, the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead over the Patriots. That should have been the Cowboys playing that year. They were beaten by the Falcons. But anyway, I thought it was a good documentary, and I probably will watch it again. And I guess I encourage you to watch it. And for some reason, I thought that that's what I was going to talk about today. BMW made cars with seat heaters and start charging a subscription to use said seat heaters. Did they really? How freaking mad would you be to find out you have to pay for that? Well, I tell you what I would do. I know it would void warranties, but I would immediately start looking on the internet at how to disconnect. And this is going to be that way for everything. How to disconnect your BMW from the internet, right? Because that's how they would monitor whether or not you're using those seat heaters. They're also, watching your speed and then governing your speed, where, if you're going too fast, they'll top you out at 55 or whatever. Some of those things are really insidious, and it's about control. That's kind of why I want to buy a whole bunch of vehicles from like the last 10 years and just sort of keep them in stock so that I never have to do that. But there's no such thing as a test that a smart man like Tyler can't find his way around. So we're all going to be, hot wiring our own cars at some point so that we don't get monitored by the man. My wife was an iron worker. Wow, I didn't know that. I don't know what that means. That was touching, even if it was to do with the Cowboys. Well, they are America's team, whether you like it or not, Michael Hendricks. And actually, it was funny because they showed the clip from the Jimmy Johnson ceremony. He goes, I would like to thank the millions of Dallas Cowboys fans. And I would like to thank the millions of fans who hate the Dallas Cowboys because you are what makes football great. It was such a great moment. Are you trying to tell us that you are dying? I am dying. Does that take the mystique out of it when I just tell you that? Please mention life-altering diagnoses to me before you announce them on the internet. Thanks. Christy, I've told you this before, and other people that you think might want to know, but if I found out I was dying, I wouldn't tell anybody. If there's nothing you can do, if you're just going to go to Jesus, and particularly, don't take this personally, even though it's specifically about you, but you're a worrier. And all your worrying isn't going to add one more day to my life. So why am I going to ruin your life with worry and frets and pain and anguish and fear if there's nothing you can do? You know what I mean? There's no point in telling you. Apparently the Browns are upset with their kicker. I didn't watch the NFL anymore, but some of my bros were talking about it in group text. I didn't see the Cincinnati-Cleveland game. I did watch some of the game last night. And wouldn't you know it, the same old shit that is always happening is always happening. I'm at work. I'm at 911. And right as they're about to kick the game-winning field goal, I've got deputies doing shit. The phone's ringing. Nothing will happen for 20 minutes. And then right as it comes down to the final game, I have to turn and look at my monitor. And it's just can you guys just fucking cool it? I know that it's my job to be at work and do work, and work's what's important. And ultimately, Bills Ravens, I don't care that much about it, but it's just annoying because it's can I have 30 seconds apiece? You guys can't stop. Like I mentioned earlier, the feeling of babysitting. I feel like I'm babysitting the cops because I have to check on them and ask them how they're doing and answer their traffic right away. But I would prefer to just be hold on, I'm watching a football game. Give me 30 seconds. I think any other job, if someone's talking to you, you could say, hey, give me a sec. You could say, give me 30 seconds or I'll be right with you or whatever. I can't do that. And I don't think that's reasonable. You know what I mean? That I can't say, hey, can you give me a sec? What if it was for something else? I can get how no one's going to get behind me. Really, you want to don't do your job because you're trying to watch a football game at work? Yeah, no one's going to support that. Okay. But at any job that you guys have, if someone wants your attention right now, you can say, give me a minute. I'll get right back to you. Or I'll let you know. Or hold on a sec. I don't get to do that. Going in my last door, which was a dead zone, I'll catch the remainder later. All right, talk to you later, Salamander. Ravens build game was good. That was a good game. I thought last night, as certain emergencies were going on in my close proximity, that it was a good last football game to see in case I didn't make it out alive. Sometimes the diagnosis can be treated. Sometimes it can. Sometimes people wouldn't bother to bankrupt their entire family to do that, though. Just something to think about. I don't want to think about that. Even if he got bad news, that would mean the end. They're better and better at helping us. Well, we all have different ideas about the right way to deal with death, and I guess I have different ideas. I feel like you shouldn't be a burden to other people. I couldn't fall asleep last night after the Bills game. I was too hype up after that comeback. You're sitting there, you're sweating. It was really good, though. It was the biggest comeback at Orchard Park since 1967 versus the Jets. Very good game. It just goes to show you that Josh Allen is the real deal. Really good way to open this season. Is there any names that have as many alternate spellings as Carrie? I don't have enough money to go bankrupt. What do you guys say we just do the memes? I've been talking now for about 30 minutes, which is way too long. Just as a reminder, we do have swag. I'm thinking about closing the shop. I have to discuss this with Drew, but it's I ordered things from them and it just says the status is still in production and they're not sending things to me. Other people have complained. I thought maybe it was some kind of hiccup in their supply line. It's not getting better. I think it's ridiculous that you order things from a company and they take your money and then you're just in some sort of like eternal limbo, you know? I don't really like what's going on with Teespring. They're very easy to use for me as a creator. I just upload a design and pick the products I want it to be on. But they don't actually make t-shirts. They don't actually make mugs, I guess. I mean, here's one that they made, but how long did it take? You know what I mean? Maybe I'll try ordering something today, not as a creator, but as someone who wants something from the comm center, and I'll see how long it actually takes. And if I'm not satisfied with it, I'm probably going to talk to Drew about closing the shop because it just makes us look bad. We're not making any money because people won't buy things because stuff's not showing up. They're canceling orders or whatever. But that said, the reason why I bring that up and mention that to you at all is because if you do want your chance to get something with comm center or, you know, hard time or failure to stop, any of that stuff that I have in those two shops, this is your chance. I mean, it's a little bit more like rolling the dice than it is like going to the store, but I mean, you know, this is your chance to kind of come up with something before I tear it all down. And there are some good things in the shop that you can get. But this is kind of, you know, maybe the last chance, depending on how it goes. You know, like this Canadian mug. Tyler, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's like super Canadian. I changed the spelling. I put the little St. George's crown on Drew. And I made myself look like a Mountie. Canada's #1 podcast about America. It's pretty cool. Same thing on hoodies. It is hoodie weather. What else is there? Just, you know, some general logo tees. I don't know. I don't even know if these are any good. I think I ordered one of these. I ordered one of these. I think I ordered this. I think I got it in graphite. And, you know, where is it? It's just nowhere. And then what else was good on here? Well, you know, our main logo, the Chick-fil-A logo. Like, I think this is a handsome mug. You know? I think it's not bad. And then, you know, some of the other stuff, the Law and Order tee. I know that Shorty Rides got one of those and she posted about it on Instagram. And I think it's a good looking shirt. You know, I think they did fine work when they actually do stuff, but it took forever for that to happen. So there's a chance that might be going away just because I'm not happy with how bad it makes us look. People think that it's me running that shop or that I have any control over producing the t-shirts or mugs. And then, you know, we've got a lot of people who don't watch me on this show. There's 10,000 subscribers. So if some of those people feel like getting a shirt and then it never shows up, it just creates a negative connotation with the brand. And then, you know, you don't want things like that. Breaking news, Zodiac Killer finally caught. It was Elmo. Think about it. Can't account for his movements during that time. You know, Elmo's like 6.5 years old, right? He's very tall for 6.5. I guess he is a monster, though. From a young age, I knew everybody was wrong and I was right. I think I did know this from a very young age. I just think it's still true. Mid-conversation, I tossed a pistol onto the table, not to suggest or imply anything, but just to change the situation a little bit. There's a famous author. His name's Raymond Chandler. He writes detective fiction. At least he did back in the late 40s, 50s. The Big Sleep is one of his stories. The Big Goodbye. But he would say, like, hey, if you've got all these characters and you've got this story going on and you get stuck, you know, what do you do? He says, just have one of the characters pull out a gun. You know, can you imagine trying to write a story and like suppose you get stuck on your narrative and you just don't know. You don't know what to do next. Just have one of your characters pull out a gun. You know, all of a sudden it changes everything. Maybe a character that you thought you knew, you thought you liked, is betraying everyone, or somebody obviously knew something that none of the other characters knew. I think it's a good way to go. Boy, some of these memes are going to be repeats today. Blueberry mac and cheese is a real thing. So are the police. Now, being someone who has watched a lot of cooking programs, a lot of Food Network, and a lot of Epicurious on YouTube, it's become one of my new favorite channels. I've learned that good cooking is all about balancing flavor, savory and sweet, sweet and salty, sweet and zesty, sweet and sour. You have to kind of balance flavors together. Blueberries are very, very sweet, but macaroni and cheese is a very creamy, light profile that I don't think would work very well with sweet. I think you have to get, for creamy, I think you have to get something savory in there. That's why with mac and cheese, something like shrimp or something would do well in there. Maybe chicken, but not blueberries, right? Anyone here ever had anything weird? It's like, so are the police. I'm going to call the police on you for eating blueberry mac and cheese. I stand with Waffle House employees. I love this because, like, my line on the flag is like the thin gold line, I guess. But oftentimes people confuse it with the thin yellow line, which is for like tow truck drivers. But this is for Waffle House employees. I kind of like this shirt. This seems like something I would wear. Only difference between me and someone in a psych ward is I'm outside. That's the only difference between me and someone who's in a psych ward, is that I'm outside. I don't understand why my cooking was garbage. I did everything right. I drank wine while I cooked. I had a hand towel over my shoulder. Literally everything right. This is someone who learns to cook from Spider-Man 3 or whatever. This next meme is going to piss people off. And perhaps before I bring it up, I should address everyone in the chats. We all know the Zodiac Killer is Dick Van Dyke. I have said that. That's true. I still haven't gotten my sticker. God damn it. This is really inappropriate. They don't do a good job. I think for me, this is the nail in the coffin. You know, stickers shouldn't be hard to produce. I understand, like with t-shirts, there's labor. You're finding a guy to throw it in the press. But I think that for me, this is the nail in the coffin when it comes to Teespring. You still haven't gotten your stickers. Maybe I can reach out to them today to just generalize some complaints that none of my people are receiving any of their stuff. I'm actually pretty mad about that. Teespring did the same to another YouTube created and her audience. Well, are they doing it to all of us or just to me? I feel that my order was decently quick. It was like maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, but what happened? Like after that, it really fell off. They just stopped sending out stuff. Foxy, the fact that you have to wait for money to buy anything just goes to show me that you can't afford it. So don't buy anything. I'm not waiting around for you to keep waiting around because, first of all, like this is not the first time that you keep telling me that you're waiting around. And what taxes are you waiting around from? It's September. I assume you filed your taxes before April, so you would have already had your return. And why do you have a tax return? If you're doing your taxes appropriately, you shouldn't have a tax return, which means you should have that money in hand. So instead of giving the money to me for t-shirts, you're giving it to the government so that they can give it back to you in April. Is that literally what we're doing? You're giving the money to the government to use now, interest free. But you're waiting for them to give it back to you in April so that you can. Okay. Hire an accountant. I heard in May and it's not coming. I need to figure out how to contact them. They should have sent you an email saying like, "Hey, thanks for your order." But we're done. I'm done. I'm done with them. Here's the thing, Printful. The reason why we went with Teespring is because it integrates with YouTube. When you watch us on YouTube, you see our products at the bottom. It's not that I want to. It's not that I want to get rid of the merch, and it's not that I even want to have merch. I just want it to work. It's not doing the one thing I want it to do. And it's September now. It's time. I'm done with it. Wait, who did the Maltese Falcon? It was him, Raymond Chandler. Very good job, Foxy. Anyone ever watched the Dick Van Dyke Show? Mary Tyler Moore was my first crush when I was a wee lad. She was married on that show. I bet that would be good. The salty mac and cheese. Is mac and cheese salty? I view it as more of a creamy thing. They go together. Everything goes with cheese, meat, cereals, pastas. Not blueberries, though. They're in an Amish store near me that sells cheese with blueberries in it, and it's delicious. I've had blueberry cheese. Don't get me wrong. And I like there's some cheese that has fruit in it, like cranberry Stilton. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. A piece of cheese with dried blueberries in it is one thing, but if you're eating with like whole blueberries that are very wet, I think that's another. So I don't know. I would be very worried about that. Red chile brownies, sweet and spicy. Yeah. This is what I make fun of about the American Southwest where she lives, is that they put chiles into everything. That you could go to the store, buy a box of Frosted Flakes that has chiles in it. Get over it, Southwest. It's not everything is chiles. She basically lives where hatch peppers are grown, so that's why everything chilies are there and everything. I'm at that point. Fuck Mondays. You're having a bad day. Oh wait, are we supposed to be telling John to what we are referring when we comment on things? Yes, regarding the memes. Haha. I just ordered 2 shirts and a sticker on $5.29. Just emailed them about all 3, which requested a refund. You can't spell refund without fun. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you ordered them in May and it's September, you're done. At that point, you shouldn't accept anything less than a refund. I may do the same thing too. I don't even know if my orders. Here's the thing: my orders have probably been canceled without me being told, and I probably was never issued a refund. Dedicated to a creator I watch as well. His channel is called Reporting Live from My Sofa. He switched because they screwed his fans as well. It's time. I'm going to talk to Drew about shutting it down. I'm done. It does depend on the cheese, without a doubt. You have to use the right cheese. I recently watched on Epicurious, that channel I told you about. Epicurious was a magazine, and I'm sure now it's a YouTube channel. But a guy made grilled cheese with 56 different kinds of cheese. And he took a bite out of every single one of them. So I know that like Fontina is the best cheese for grilled cheese. He even did like spray cheese, ricotta cheese, cream cheese. He did all of them. Big Costco probably conspire with Teespring to blacklist you. Yeah, probably. That makes sense. I would have pistachio coffee. I think that you sent me some of that, didn't you, Christy? Anyway, I'm going to the Amish store now thanks to this conversation. I'm so glad I got my t-shirt. It's my favorite, and I wear it all the time, even though it's long sleeve and it's been 90 degrees out. Well, it'll serve you through the winter. To everyone that ordered stuff from us, I'm just real sorry it didn't work out. I run one shop on my own and the other one I do with Drew, and so I guess I'll be reaching out to them soon to let them know I'm not happy. People order things and then they don't get things, and then They apparently do it to lots of different people. And this is fine. They could just have a company this way. Pick a peanut butter, everyone. I'm going with the crunchy B. But I would be certainly willing to try the chocolate. I would love to try the chocolate as a treat. Reduced fat, I'm not even going to bother with. The fat's why peanut butter is delicious. I would be interested in trying the honey as well. I could probably tolerate the no added sugar, but I've got to be able to get that in crunchy. I got to know about the dark roast. I've got to know what's going on with dark roast peanut butter. I've got to try that before I die. I'm half tempted to go to the grocery store just to look for that based off of this meme alone. The problem is I know that I can't buy a jar of peanut butter and not eat the whole damn thing. So, I should let you other people pick. We didn't even talk about it. It's not your fault. It's Trump's fault. Yeah. I saw this meme last night about how people, to deal with stressful situations and to cope, they just imagine that whatever bad news or bad thing that's going on in their life, they imagine Donald Trump telling it to them, like, you're fired, or you're too fat, or your children don't love you, or whatever. And then I tell Donald Trump to fuck off, and it's really, really cathartic. So I posted on there like, well, I'm kind of a Trump guy, so I tried imagining Joe Biden telling me the things in my life aren't working out, but whenever he talked, it just didn't make any fucking sense. No replies. I don't know why I comment on things on Instagram, because it's just designed to ruin my day. Because there is one person out there. There's always one person that will, like, to the death, like, keep going back and forth with me about things. And I won't even want to argue it. So I just simply restate whatever it is I stated without making my case any better. And but they'll go back and forth all day. Jenny says F, E, or G. So she wants the honey, the simply, which I'm not sure what makes it simple, or the G, the no added sugar. Probably a good idea. F all the way for Talia. She likes the honey. Can I get crunchy honey? Yes, you can. In an ideal world. I don't know if they make it. They probably don't. They probably realize that only people of impeccable taste, which by definition are few, enjoy crunchy peanut butter. And so creamy probably outsells crunchy. And so they're like, well, we're going to come out with this honey variant. And they're like, well, should it be crunchy or smooth? And they're like, well, smooth sells more, because common people are by definition what's going to move the most peanut butter. So the impeccable would be the crunchy, the common people like creamy. And so when they came out with honey, it's probably just going to be creamy. What's the pig Latin shirt, though, John? What do you mean, what's the pig Latin shirt? I don't know what this question means. What pig Latin shirt? I don't know what that question means. I never had any problems getting anything. I've ordered through TeePublic or Redbubble. Well, okay, you've never had problems with other companies, right? But do they integrate with YouTube? They do not. That's the reason why we went with Teespring. It wasn't because they were necessarily the best or that we had recommendations. It was because when you watch our videos on YouTube, you can see our products on Teespring right there in the channel. So it's really fucking unfortunate that they don't deliver. I think they get kickbacks from YouTube, and that must be how they stay in business or something. They've got some sort of deal with YouTube that feeds them cash, and that's how they stay afloat. And it's probably literally enough people to run a website, and that's it. Because they definitely don't have enough people to make t-shirts. Honey roasted crunchy is the way to go. I know, like the perfect peanut butter is like almost something you have to make yourself. I'm not sure how non-Jif peanut butter even exists. Yeah, I know. Like they claim that like Skippy is good and things like that, but yeah, I've never wanted any of them. I bought my kids the extra crunchy the other day. Good for you, raising those kids right. I only buy Peter Pan brand. Weird. I think I had Peter Pan when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my mom would get Peter Pan to save money, and honestly, that's my childhood trauma. There you go. Peter Pan makes honey roasted crunchy. There you go. Who is the Pig Latin done by? The Pig Latin what? I don't know what you're talking about. Am I meant to understand this? Who is the Pig Latin done by? I don't know what that means. Peanut butter and honey sandwiches are the best. What is Pig Latin? It's like a childish language where you put like the last first syllable last and then put AY on it. I don't know why. Teesprings being negatively affected by ice raids. You probably figured it out. That's exactly what happened. Foxy had a stroke. Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. She's having a shirt. I can't tell what she's talking about. I can't answer that question. Sorry. People are shocked when they find out I'm not a very good electrician. This is a total dad joke, right? But I also like it because it's a kind of an anti-joke. People are shocked when they find out I'm not a very good electrician. You can't gaslight me because I have a narcissistic mother with a victim complex. Oh no. Here's to you, Mom. This is you. I know you could never grasp everything that's wrong with you, but believe me, everyone that's around you can tell. If you are struggling to make ends meet due to rising inflation, a simple way to make some extra money is by winning a few bets by way of sports gambling. It's definitely not by selling t-shirts on Teespring. Why did you think of that, idiot? Just gamble. First date idea. We watch the sunset together from a rooftop, and then I jump, forever changing the course of your life. Of course, this is a funny meme, but some of you would be like, well, that's horrible. You go on a first date with someone and kill yourself, during the date. It's the same thing as telling a loved one that you're dying, though. You're traumatizing them. To me, it's really not that different. It's no coincidence that you can climb over the pharmacy counter. It's because that's what you're supposed to do. This is for Amazon. I can't thank Amazon enough for hiring my 12-year-old son. Amazon help. Hi, can you clarify for us what you mean by hiring your 12-year-old son? Cora, he is one of your drivers. Shit. Oh, my Lord. Unsubstantiated, I hope. Don't put words in my mouth. That's where the hot dogs go. I had hot dogs again this weekend, just because I'm finally putting the kitchen back together, but it's not all the way there yet. I cleaned out the fridge. Everything's got dust all over it. Finally getting my life back after all these months. It was the first week of July that all this began, and now it's all finally wrapping up, thank God. I'll finally be able to put all my stuff back where it goes, and it'll all finally be over. A long national nightmare is over. To borrow the words of Gerald Ford. I heard you do a terrible owl impression. When? Holy shit, that is bad. Oh, another time of choosing, everyone. The shirt. What shirt? What shirt? What shirt, Foxy? The shirt. What shirt? Pig Latin, the shirt? What are you talking about? I swear to God, sometimes I act very obtuse because it's funny. Like I don't pretend I don't have any idea what's going on. I don't have any idea what you're talking about at all, Foxy. Not even close. Put together a sentence of at least 20 words so that I can understand what the hell you're talking about. For those of us in the West, We have Winco in their bulk section. You can make your own peanut butter and almond butter from just the nuts. I've seen that before. A grocery store where you grind the nuts and you add the oil and you can make it yourself. But that was a long time ago. That was back when grocery stores were kind of good, kind of before COVID. My sister lives in San Antone, and whatever mega grocery store they have there, probably HEB. They have their down there has something. Jenny, my BIL brother-in-law, loves that crazy stuff. I need coffee. Yeah. John, regarding the first date idea, be a truly memorable first date. What would really suck if you really like that person? Like, what if it took you a long time to get up the courage to ask that person out? You finally were doing it. I haven't been on a first date in a long time. I don't really miss dating, though. Dating is a shit show. I went on a date with a girl, and we ended up back at her apartment with some of her friends. Entire place smelled like rotten milk. I ducked and ghosted her. Yeah, that's one thing that girls and guys too. I have no doubt this happened for me, probably. But like when they've gone nose blind and they can't tell. I remember there was a girl I went on a few dates with. We just didn't really hit it off. I'm still friendly with her, whenever I see her around. But I would go back to her place and it smelled strongly of cats. And I knew that she couldn't smell it because otherwise she wouldn't be able to tolerate it. But it's just like, it really had a really, really, really strong cat smell, litter box smell, I guess. It was really, really, it was mood killing. It was so strong. Yeah. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be like, hey, your apartment stinks. But you also want to be like, I don't want to be here because it smells bad. What do? You can't save that situation. I'm always worried about it. When I had the AC guys over the other day, I was spraying Febreze like crazy because I'm like, I know this house stinks. It has to have, like with the animals having accidents and things like that lately. There's no way it doesn't smell. So I'm just going to Febreze the fuck out of it. Hopefully I've had all the doors and windows open for weeks, trying to air the place out, but I'm sure that it just smells. I'm a cashier at Walgreens, and every time someone walks up to the front with a prescription and then tries to show me the receipt to prove they paid for it, I make a silly little joke. And I tell them that I hope that the pharmacy didn't just let them jump the counter and take it. It's really just me being a smart ass and disguising it in humor. I would say, halt, citizen, you are in clear violation of the law. You are in possession of a controlled substance. Don't take this the wrong way, but it's like, it's only because I have another job that I say this, cupcakes. But like, I would work at Walgreens as a joke. Like, I would clearly try to sabotage myself. Now, if I didn't have another job, I would take it seriously. But I'm just saying, like, if I went and worked there right now, I would be doing it as a lark. I would be doing it because it was fun. Crunchwrap Supreme for my sister. Jenny goes with the cheesy bean and rice burrito, some cinnamon twists, and a cheesy gordita crunch, which is what they call a taco bravo at Taco John's. What company produces the t-shirt for Pig Latin? I think that's what she's saying. Well, all my shops are through Teespring. And there is no t-shirt for Pig Latin. So there's still no answer to your question, technically speaking. So far, no one's ever picked up on the fact that I'm being a bitch. It's hard when people say stupid things to you, to just be friendly in those instances, particularly when it happens all day, every day. I can empathize with you. But the potato taco is good too. I think all the Supreme tacos and everything above regular at Taco John's has potato olays on it. I thought that's what makes us friends. Oh man, I am sure I have a bunch of nose blindness. Damn COVID messing with my nose. Well, COVID's one thing, but also just when you become nose blind to wherever it is, the place that you inhabit. I think that's what most people go through. I decided I was going to fast today, and like my stomach is already rumbling, and it's not even noon. How am I going to fast the rest of the day? I don't even know why I'm hungry. I must have blown out a keto at some point over the weekend. I don't know how I did that. Too many steak, too many eggs. Like, what is it that I did wrong? What if it wasn't Kat? She was cooking meth. I like how you just assume I could be dating someone who was doing that. She's a very nice person. She just didn't know. I think she once made a comment to me. We went out with a couple of her friends. This was years ago, but this was long after we had stopped attempting to date. You know, just nothing really happened between us. And I was texting her at some point after we had gone out to Buffalo Wild Wings or something. And she made some throwaway comment about how like her friends thought that we got along so well that they didn't understand why we weren't dating. And I'm like, man, it's not your friends that think that. It's probably you, isn't it? We got along really well, but as friends, like I didn't feel any romantic spark. So I feel bad. She probably had a thing for me and I couldn't tell. I don't know. My first date was a few months ago, but don't tell my wife. My last first date. Okay. Oh, did someone just text me telling me to shut up? Nope. It's an email Drew shared with me. You guys could all probably hear that. Do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? They call it a Royale with cheese, I believe. I think I learned that from a show called Weird Food History. I don't know what meth cooking smells like, but I've heard. Jonathan, it was the pizza. What? It was the pizza? What? Oh, it was the pizza I had. Oh, right. I had that on Thursday or Friday. Maybe. That was cauliflower crust, though. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to suffer today, huh? I don't know what I'm going to do, though, because it's like I'm already feeling really hungry. I mean, I have been calorie restricted in the last couple of days. Do you think maybe it's not that I'm out of keto, but that it's because I've been restricting calories the last couple of days? Do you think that's possible? Because I really have been. Like I've been eating, but it hasn't been a lot. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to find a way to play through the pain, even though I have to answer 911 calls later, and I might only be semi-conscious for that. I'm going to play through the pain. Nice people cook meth too. She wasn't a meth person. Believe me, I can pick up on that, okay? She was very sweet and kind. She was a very nice girl. Just didn't feel anything. That was a long time ago, too. That's got to be like 10 years ago. So it's pointless to talk about. I'm not trying to be dumb. Thanks, John. Well, I just don't know what you're talking about. There's no Pig Latin t-shirt, Folksy. It doesn't exist. So you're like referring to something that doesn't exist. So I don't know how to answer your question. I do not talk nutrition with you. Well, I'm not doing nutrition. I'm not doing it anymore. No more nutrition. I found that protein shakes, just protein powder and water, will hold me over well with like 110 calories. I'm going to start using them more. Maybe I'll do that. I do have some protein powder. I can throw it in with some water to kind of also help with the calories. Ask Tansy. Well, he doesn't make any merchandise. When I spoke to him the other day, he literally said to me, merchandise is always more trouble than it's worth. And years ago, when there was a merch shop, when I came on board with Failure to Stop, I asked him what he thought about it. and he did not want to do merchandise. So Tansy isn't doing anything with merchandise. The only person who does anything with merchandise is me. And there's no fuck. I'm just gonna open it up. Why do we have to get to this point? I don't know. Because I hate like things like not making sense or having some kind of like discontinuity. But we're just gonna open that up. Okay. So here's the other shop. It's the failure to stop underground thing. That's what I call it, because it doesn't. I can't integrate it with that YouTube without having Mike Edwards fucking call me, which he won't do. So I made this chemical shirt just for fun. I made that. No one's bought it. So I've got the LeBron James thing. Okay. The failure to stop t-shirt. I've got my hard time stuff, folksy. Okay. The mug that I made with the kind of revamped logo where Tansy doesn't look so much like a terrible lesbian guy. I've got the Guns Up Giddy Up t-shirt. Okay. And then I've got some mugs. And then is this the Pig Latin t-shirt? Is this what you mean? Because it's not really a Pig Latin t-shirt. It doesn't say Pig Latin on it. It's not in reference to Pig Latin. That's the only thing I can think of that you might be thinking of. I didn't make this for Pig Latin. I don't know. That has to be what you mean. But that's it. There's no Pig Latin t-shirt. Is that what you mean? Please tell me that's what you mean, because otherwise I will never have any idea what you meant. All you can see is the burritos. Well, I forgot to put it on the screen. God, I'm so mad that I am not even doing the right thing. Jesus H. All right. I'll go through that whole thing again. Here's the chemical shirt that I made. LeBron James. Just get me all flustered. The hard time stuff. The mug, where Tansy's been slightly updated so that he doesn't look like a lesbian. The Pig Latin mugs, right? These are Pig Latin mugs. They say failure stop on the back, but they're the characters from Pig Latin. And then this is the only thing I can think of that she must be referring to. Is this what you mean? Foxy, please tell me that it is. Because I can't, and I wouldn't call that a Pig Latin t-shirt, but maybe she is. I don't know. Back to Taco Bell. No one asked me what I wanted. I was never big into the chalupa. Burrito Supreme, probably good. I'd probably go to the spicy potato soft taco or chicken quesadilla. All right, we can't see anything, John. We still see tacos. I use this stuff called Rule 1. It's the middle of the road, far as cost goes, at the vitamin shop. I use Quest protein powder. They can be used as meal replacements, I think. Yeah. Premier protein shakes. I think I also have some. I have some lemon sorbet flavored stuff too. Maybe I'll grab one of those. I know what I've seen. Okay. I'm a C- student at best and not a wackadoodle, but I'm having issues with the t-shirt. I like how you fight with your own fans. I wasn't fighting with her. Texas time is very new to this, so she doesn't know that, like Foxy and I, that Foxy drives me nuts. Texas time, just so that you know, Foxy is the best, and we've had similar conversations dozens of times. She sent me this Bakersfield PD patch, so we're all good. I'm not mad at Foxy. I just don't know what the hell she's talking about. But that's funny. I like how you fight with your own fans. Well, as you can see, I'm clearly a shit show, right? I'm showing you like a meme with tacos on it. Well, I'm trying to like prove myself correct. I'm clearly a mess. All right. Okay. What a morning. Am I going crazy? Yes. I'm fucking losing it. So, did you see some other shirt that wasn't there, Foxy? Did you imagine something that doesn't exist? Frenemies, pal holes. You still have the BPD patch. Yeah, did you think that I threw it away? It's all right here. Yeah. Why would I throw it away? Keep it near me. John used to call Britt at like 2:30, 2300 during the after show, and we hear from 18 children. I did talk to her kids once live on the air, Texas time. Foxy's an OG. I've known her so long that I can like yell at her. Really like the show because I literally yell at my audience. She had a dream. Oh, all right. So, yes, your daughter Carrie with a completely different spelling. So, Foxy, there was some other shirt that I take it. We just never fucking got it resolved. God, I got to get going. I got to go to the gym. Got to end the show. So let's press on. They're saying there isn't going to be a Thursday this week. Actually, it's funny. I think I posted this one last week, but there literally may not be a Thursday this week. This week is 9/11. And we don't have any more Donna Adelson content to really do. I mean, we might do a members only show on Thursday night for members only. And there was a Georgia Kappelman interview that we might break down. I could see that being important, particularly since they address Wendy. I've been looking at some of our bad comments that we got during the course of the trial. I thought it would be fun if Drew and I posted some of the bad comments on our show and just kind of laughed about it. Maybe just took phone calls and just did that as a members only. I think that's probably what I want to do. I'll talk to Drew and see what he wants to do, but just a members night. We have done that occasionally. The moon can't control you if you're dehydrated all the time, which is why I'm clearly dehydrated this morning and probably why Foxy is. Which one of these does not belong in a burger? Mayonnaise, ketchup, tomatoes, mustard, bacon, lettuce. More importantly, no one ever considers what I think, so it doesn't matter. Can imagine someone commenting that. You ever wonder if Gordon Ramsay ever says fuck it and microwaves himself 12 pizza rolls at 2 a.m.? Probably. I already played that one. Venmo me when you get home so I know you are safe. Just send me some money. Oh, gosh. It would be so cool if recycling were real. I feel like this is probably like the meme that I put in here to have a 10-minute conversation about. But given that it's already, we've already been going for over an hour, I probably can't have this conversation. I don't believe in recycling. I don't think it's real, and I don't do it. The end. I got a message from the United States Postal Service. Xing Gong Kong Xing Chahang. By the way, that was a legitimate attempt to read that. Oh, I'm sure that's who that is. This was me all weekend. Stress laxing. Being stressed that relaxing makes you more stressed because you're not working on what's making you stressed. I also have to stop at the hardware store. I suppose I do have time to do that at other points this week since I won't be changing the oil and spark plugs on my mower until Saturday. So why am I stressing about that? Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I can't stop thinking about the bare naked ladies. And how long has it been since your last conviction? It's been 1 week since we got to see BNL, foundational band. The first CD that I ever got from the Columbia Records Club for 1 penny was a BNL album. Give me a 60 milligram Vyvanse and 10 to 12 beers, and I'll run the country myself. I'll do it. I think I could be a good president for probably about a day. They would just tell me, Mr. President, it can't be done, and then that would be it. My friends, oh my God, how are you? I have wronged the gods in all my past lives, that I once again have only bad news. My therapist just said to me, and it hit me like a brick. You know I'm required to report all this to law enforcement, right? This is not a joke. If only this was, because I frequently tell stories that are jokes. I told my therapist that I had intention to commit burglary. But I realized, like, oh shit, like if I tell you I'm planning on committing a crime, like that's something you have to tell the police. And she goes, I could tell that you're joking. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank God. Oh, yeah. I also told the tax people I was intent on committing tax evasion next year. So are they required to tell the IRS that? I don't know. I get my news from the only reliable source, the cryptic symbolism in my dreams. It's a deep reference. Internet cable line accidentally drilled through an unknown buried woman. I don't know about you, but whenever I see a skeleton, I think man skeleton. I mean, I know women can die. It's just sad to think about. Good going. Now the internet is haunted. That explains the state of things. Every love story ever. I've got quite a few people on my Instagram like this. It's amazing that you can share so much with a person and be so close to someone, and then in the end, they just don't want to ever even talk to you ever again. Was it all real? Was it all fake? All you know for sure is it's over. Anyway, hi, I'm Captain Cardinal with the Seattle Marines. You have to wonder what the Seattle Marines are. Being enrolled in college makes you eligible for the Marine Corps Officer Program. Are you interested? He says, I'd love to play for the Seattle Mariners. It's not quite what I said, quite what I asked. Does the Marines really cold call you like this? And by the way, I guess I just totally doxed this Captain Cardinal out in Seattle, who I guess recruits people for the quote unquote Seattle Marines, whatever they are. I thought it was the United States Marines. I didn't know Seattle had its own Marines. You want a safe place? Go to Taco Bell. No judgment in there. You want to eat 5,000 calories? Do it. Take a nap afterwards, right there in the booth. One time I saw a lady come in and dump every single hot sauce packet into her purse. No one said a damn thing. That's how you live, Moss. I would say you could do all these things at Chick-fil-A, but they don't really tolerate riffraff. If you fall asleep, they're going to oust you. I already played that one, so it looks like we're getting near the end. By the way, this Rory Blank, he has a lot of Simpsons content, comments, or comics. And I don't know how he does this without being sued. It's clearly a parody of The Simpsons. So I guess that's it. But Dad, eat short. I am cow, man. It is every father's dream to eat his son. This will not regain you the vitality I have already taken, old man. You are still spent. Doe. It's almost like a weird Asian version. Look at Bart with his hands out to the side. It's clearly like meant to be. It's just insane. And Homer's head is quite a bit off model there. It is every father's dream to eat his son. I wish I had thought of this. I could have made millions off of drawing Simpsons comics that were just articulate and bizarre. Emily Swaven. Yes, the K word is stronger than the N word. Calling someone Karen is literally worse than calling someone the N word, according to Emily Swaven, who you can tell has been called the K word Karen quite a bit, at least currently. Guys, I hate to tell you this, but calling someone Karen is not worse than using the N word. Misogyny and patriarchy have been around longer than slavery. Just don't use either, okay? Yeah, except being a Karen is a bad thing that you do yourself, right? So a black person is born that way because God made them in his image, and that's what God wants them to be. And a white person can be cruel to them and call them the N-word for being born that way. And don't get me wrong, there's certain people who can act a certain way. That's a very N-word way to act, okay? The ghetto violence, the gang violence, a lot of that they do bring on themselves. But every single Karen is only a Karen because they act that way. It has nothing to do with their birth. So stop saying Karen. Karen is sexist and racist term. So I guess you could only be Karen if you're white, I guess, for white women. Calling a woman Karen is an attempt to get rid of women's rights to stand up for themselves. I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. I'll stop calling people Karen if I can just resume calling them a bitch, because it means the same thing. Select your peanut butter. We already did that one. I already did that one 3 times. Did that one 3 times. Did that one already. I think I've double loaded all these memes. I think that means the show's over. Last meme. Can you imagine giving an energy drink to someone in the 1800s? They would ask if this drink is for babies. Teddy Roosevelt drank up to a gallon of coffee a day. Dudes back then only paused their caffeine intake long enough to blast some cigarettes. Just absolutely wired 24/7. And not just cigarettes and beer and not that wires you, but and caffeine, but like Benzedrine. I was reading a novel, Ian Fleming's Moonraker, where James Bond is given this mission to go out and observe this British industrialist guy named Hugo Drax, who's building the Moonraker missile for Great Britain. And he's there to figure out whether or not he's cheating at cards. He's kind of just doing a favor for someone. He's just checking up on this guy to see if he's a card cheat. That's all. That's the nature of the mission. It's kind of a personal favor to M. He's going to go check up on this guy to see if he's a card cheat, because James Bond would know all the card tricks. And James Bond is like just relaxing, having a good time playing cards with Hugo Drax. He's really just there to see if he's cheating. He's not there to save the world. He's not trying to infiltrate Drax's operation. But he takes a hit of Benzedrine at a certain point just because he's trying to relax and have a good time. And it's just like, Benzedrine, really? You're going to take some of that? And the bad guy, like Lashif, he also, in Casino Royale, he also takes a hit of Benzedrine. In the movie, they changed it so that he has an asthma inhaler so that you don't know that he's taking Benzedrine. He's the subtext of the movie is that he's taking Benzedrine, but in the movie, it looks like he has an asthma inhaler. But yeah, back in the day, they used to hit much harder stuff. If you gave them a Bang energy drink with however many milligrams of caffeine in it, they would laugh at you. All right, show's ending. Why don't we just go ahead and through the last final comments of the show? I think I'm going to do an audiobook. I can get through those a lot faster. Oh, what's 9/11 mean? Don't do this to me, Tyler. You'll find her the Pig Latin shirt after the show. By all means, it doesn't matter. I'm not getting paid for it anyway. So anyone can just go out and make a Pig Latin shirt. Go ahead and do it. And then sell one to Foxy so that she's happy as soon as her tax money gets here. There was a different shirt. I never made one, so someone else was making it. And by all means, go buy it from them because I'm not the exclusive provider. I'm not the exclusive provider of Pig Latin anything. I'm not officially associated with it at all. You Americans always making random dates important. Dude, some of us are still upset about that. I want to call in, but I don't know anything about the trials. Well, Texas time, if you're a member, and I believe that you are, you can call in and talk to us about anything on a members night show. If you want to just call in and talk, you can. It's too bad you don't know anything about the trials. I thought you were watching the coverage pretty close. My favorite trials were Bob Bashira and Nancy Brophy. I don't know anything about that one. I caught it was hilarious when Gordon Ramsay got roasted for his bougie grilled cheese he made. Jonathan, what are you working at the gym today? Well, given that I have no calories, I went for a walk the other day and I got so tired I turned around after a mile. Probably just do some maintenance lifting just to keep atrophy at bay. Women don't make skeletons. They fade back into the heavens. I've got to get my my mustache trimmed. It is so itchy right now. They don't offer enough non-whey protein powders. I cannot digest that whey at all. I could digest whey, so it works just fine for me. Asian Simpsons. Thank you. I appreciate the lawyer backing me up. I think to be safe, you should use all the words. Probably. Heard Matt Groening say he doesn't go after every Simpsons copier. I think he doesn't. Yeah. Well, he already has more money than God, so what's the problem? Karen's need for control and ability to read a room is the problem. Yeah. Cocaine in that snuff box. Brazil nuts. Yeah. I saw a meme about Brazil nuts recently, and I didn't get it for a long time. And then I had to go all the way back to like my youth to remember what the deal was with Brazil nuts. Like the ET that took the guns out of the movie and replaced them with flashlights. Yeah. Don't do that. That's why you should own physical media. Damn it, Jonathan. I am ordering groceries for the week right now, and I'm craving an energy drink, so I will be ordering some. That's why I'm having such a hard time right now. I put energy drinks in the fridge right outside my office, and I forgot to grab one. Make an illegal Pig Latin shirt and provide it to Fox News. Anyway, just go out and do it yourselves. I'm not doing anything with Teespring, and yeah, sorry, you hit a nerve there, and I know you didn't mean to. Nancy Brophy shot and killed her beloved husband that was a cook teacher in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, sometimes husbands and wives do that. Maintenance lifting isn't what I meant. Legs, arms, back. I ain't doing my legs. My grandma called it Brazilian. That's a very racial slur. That's what I'm referring to. Taliu. Taliu, there's something I wanted to bring up with you before we go. So Texas time here told me that her name is Carrie. She's kind of got out on a limb so that I can get to know her a little bit. I don't know your real name. You've been here quite a few more months than she has, and I still don't know it. Did you feel like sharing? This is your chance if you want to. If you want to tell me that you were illegally born, tell you, that's fine. But maybe that you could see what the community is all about. That Texas Time told us her real name's Carrie, and no one used it to bring about her downfall. If you wanted to share what your name was, because I know everyone else's name. Like Foxy, her real name is Brittany. But I call her Foxy because that's the name that I gave her. Jenny's name that's her real name. I can only presume Lauren's real name is Lauren. Tyler is Tyler. Christy's Christy. Michael Hendricks might actually not be his real name, but at least he like has like a regular handle, so that it's believable that his name's Michael Hendricks. Where's Chase, by the way? Where's Felony Melanie? Where these people are at? It's Brenda. Oh, well, hello, Brenda. Drew, on Thursday, I think we should do a members night where we anything you want to bring to the table, whether we're talking about the TikTok 4-person or the Kappelman debrief. And I've also taken screenshots of many of the comments for us to laugh at. Unless there's something else you want to do for Thursday, I think that's what we should do. And just have it be members only, so that we don't, it's fine if only 13 people are watching on Thursday night, and just reward every single person who became a member during the Donna Adelson trial. And we just have a good time. And any final theories, any thoughts, laughs, just kind of maybe an after party of the Donna Adelson conviction. We can even call it the Donna Adelson conviction after party show. I think that's literally what we'll call it. And we'll have a hilarious thumbnail. Unless there's anything else for Thursday night. And I know that Drew has some really good 9/11 content coming out to talking about the 911 dispatchers that worked on 9/11. I can't imagine what they would have to deal with, because at a certain point, you're so overloaded that you can't do anything. People are calling. They want to know about their loved ones. You can't not answer the phone. You can't say, I don't know anything, even though you don't know anything. Over 1,000 people have just instantly been wiped out. A lot of them first responders. You don't know who's alive, who's not alive. You're calling other states and trying to get firefighters to come from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, all around you there. What do you do? And how do you carry that day with you? And how do you come back on September 12th? I don't know. I do know Cupcake's real name. But am I not supposed to say it? Good luck figuring out my name. I won't even try. All right. Why don't you care, John? Cupcakes, I care. But I'm taking this to mean I should not say your real name. All right, everybody. Did I yell at you one time too? Jeez, I'm not a good host. With that in mind, this is the last episode of the I Stand Correct podcast. I hope all of you guys have a great week. I guess we will catch you on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go to the gym now. Sorry for everything. Sorry for yelling at everyone. Sorry, Foxy. Sorry, Cupcakes. Say my name. It's like that weird moment in, what was it, Breaking Bad? It was fun while it lasted, yes. And we will see you all on Thursday night. See you then. I am too. I am very sorry.